rugged hatchback lifted up to an SUV. Nawaf has given us a 2022 Mazda CX-30 Turbo Premium Package, Poly Gray Metallic, so it's going to look like the Carbon Edition on the exterior. In the inside, leather trim seats, premium Bose audio sound system, navigation, active drive display. On the exterior, it's going to add adaptive front lights, a wiper de-icer, a power rear tailgate with rivals like your Lexus UX, Volkswagen Taos, Volvo XC40, Subaru Crosstrek. The line of rivals just go through the door. But how are you going to compare them when this is going to be premium with luxury with rugged styling? Which one's going to be the better one for you? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new Mazda CX-30 Premium Turbo is going to look a lot more aggressive than your 3 hatchback, and it should. It's going to give more of a rugged profile stance. In the grille, gloss black. You're going to have the chrome that's going to circle around it, and it goes right into your LED headlamps and signature daytime runnings. Now, this will not be the widest. This is at 70.7 inches. The Volvo XC40 will be that, and also the tallest. The height is at 61.7 inches. Underneath the chrome that bulges out is going to have the matte black on the lower bumper trim, LED fog lamps with clearance at 8 inches. The rockers are going to be all matte black and around the fender, and it goes all the way to the rear bumper with a little bit of a shelf in between your dual exhaust outlets. The CX-30 is going to sit a little bit higher up because it's raised to be a small compact SUV. It can go against a Volvo XC40, and the price point of that is going to be MSRP'd at what this is with features. We're set with these dark gloss black 18-inch double spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading behind it at 11.6 inches, the rear at 11.9 inches. G-Vectoring Control Plus, I-Active all-wheel drive, a McPherson strut front suspension, a Torsen beam is going to be in the rear. The drive is going to be a little bit less performance. It's not going to be the largest vehicle either. The length at 173 inches, it's smaller than the hatch. The largest in the comparison will be the Lexus and the Subaru, a wheelbase at 104.4 inches. S-curve along the door captures light and shadow to give that motion inspiration, which is what Mazda is doing. When you look at this at the rival perspective, you're not going to get any of these cues, whether it's Volkswagen, Volvo, Subaru, any of them, even the Lexus. Lower roof spoiler, gloss black. You're going to get it tapering down into the rear windows. It is super round, and there's no areas that you're going to see creases. It's just a flush the way they have it set with the combination LED tail lamps. On the lower bit, I kind of think that it's a little bit bland. If they would have maybe projected this outwards more, not adding a diffuser, but maybe some gloss black, it would have gave a little bit more of a sport attribute to the rear of this, because the setup, when you're looking at it at the hatchback, it actually looks a little bit more aggressive than it does in the subcompact SUV. Power tailgate going inside to your cargo at 20.2 cubic feet. You have your spare tire tucked underneath the floor. The rear bench split folds at a 60-40 split. That's going to max the cargo to 45.2 cubic feet. This is a turbocharge. This one has the most push from the rivals. We got to go inside to start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. The Mazda CX-30 definitely gives us that rugged yet premium exterior appearance, especially with this color combo and with the wheels, the way it just sets itself apart. And it backs the performance with a 2.5 liter Sky Active G inline 4-cylinder turbocharged, producing 221 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque with regular fuel, 250 horsepower with premium with 320 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a Sky Active Drive 6-speed automatic transmission, achieving 22 to 30 mpgs, which is about 1 to 2 miles less than your non-turbo. 0 to 60 would be the fastest if you're comparing apples to apples, meaning the price point. Otherwise, the Volvo XC40 is a touch faster. This is around 7.6 seconds. Quarter mile, 15.9 seconds. The top speed increases at 126 miles per hour with the turbo. So when you're looking, you're getting luxury, you're getting the ruggedness. So Volkswagen, Subaru, going up to luxury like Lexus or the Volvo, and the price point of this is going to be substantially less, stopping 70 to 0 at 174 feet, so you have the capability of performance to move you forward. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Mazda CX-30 Turbo Premium as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Mazda CX-30, you're going to receive 37.8 inches of headroom, 41.7 inches of legroom. It's a leather bucket front seats. It's black and brown, 10-way power adjustment for the driver with memory, 4-way manual for the passenger. It's perforated. You got the contrast stitching in brown, so it does look very luxurious, and for the price point it's really hard to complain because you're getting a lot of premium. Starting with the dashboard, it's a two-tone with the brown inlays, contrast stitching, heads-up display. The infotainment screen pops up out of the dash the way it looks. It's an 8.8-inch non-touch screen. Unfortunately, you have to use everything through that rotary knob, but when you click into it, easy. We do have navigation, we just don't have it installed right now. Has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, FM. Click into your information and you can see your fuel economy to make it the most optimal. Switch it to reverse. You do have the lines, they just don't move, and I wish it was the same size as the screen instead of a smaller picture. Steering wheel, leather wrap, heated, multi-function. You got the matte black and the silver. Paddle shifters. The gauge cluster can go through an array of information for the driver and gives you just enough information about what you really need to know about your vehicle. Dual climate control settings is going to be on the lower trim of the dash, and you'll have the silver that's going to outline all of the air vents. Storage pocket here. Cup holders, a 16.9 ounce fits with no problems at all. The gloss black is going to be in the center cluster here, which are sport or regular mode. Gear lever with the leather wrap. Get your rotary knob and to turn on and off the stereo. This does slide back and it slides forward. Open it up. You got some storage and a storage tray that can be moved, so that way you can make it a little bit more organized. 2 USBs and a 12 volt. You could shift this forward or backwards, so that way it makes it easy. It is pretty soft here and on the door panels, and what I do like is how the dash goes into the door panels and it almost looks like it's smooth, soft material. It's actually going to be more firm material. You're going to get that brown with that contrast stitching and the silver with the gloss black. Bose stereo system, it's upgraded. It's a 12 speaker setup. One touch up and down for all the windows, no dual pane, and you'll get the contrast stitching yet again with storage. It's a pretty large pocket. I'd say at least 5 or 6 16.9 ounce water bottles. So you got the luxury, you got pretty good storage amenities, and this is a small SUV. You do have a moonroof. Let's see how I look in the back. The back seats, I'm at 38.3 inches of headroom, 36.3 inches. If I move too much over, I actually hit the headliner, and even if you're just around 6 foot, you're still going to hit it. This is a small, compact SUV, so you're going to expect to sit more inwards than outwards, and it's not necessarily so wide back here either. It is soft for both of the elbows. You do have your air vents in the center. One storage pocket on the passenger side. The floor is not completely flat. They do at least bring some of that luxury into the back, and what I mean by that is where you rest your arms. It's going to be nice and soft. You get the gloss black and you get that brown. Otherwise, everything is very hard material. The storage pocket, you could probably fit about 2 16.9 ounce water bottles. Here in the center, maybe a 32 ounce. So for a small family, not a big deal. For 4 or 5 adults total, might be a little tough. Let's see how I look. Sitting into the center headroom is going to be a little bit of an issue, plus leg room. If I move or adjust, I'm still sharing substantial feet, butt, shoulder space. It's going to be tough to fit anyone over 6 foot tall in the back. Maybe around 5'5"-ish could fit 3 adults, my dimensions, but anything over 6 going to be pretty tight and a little uncomfortable, even if you slide down. But when I'm looking at this to the rival perspective, I will say the Volkswagen Taos seems to have a little bit more room because it's more boxy in the interior. Same thing with the XC40 for the Volvo. This one's going to be more aerodynamic structured, so it's going to be a little bit more of a sport derived even into the rear. You do sit up a little bit higher than you do in the front. The windows are raised up a little bit too, so it still has that sport attribute. Taking the 2022 Mazda CX-30 Turbo Premium out for our test run. You have 250 horsepower. That's 64 more horsepower than the base engine. The drive should be pretty good, 0 to 60s in the low 7 seconds, which is still, or the mid 7 seconds, I should say, which is still pretty quick because this is not the biggest vehicle and it's not the biggest engine either. Here we go. It literally shoots like a rocket. Super fun to play with. You have good visibility in the front. The front windscreen is pretty large. I do like that we sit up a little higher too, because this makes it a little bit easier. It's a throaty exhaust note. Night and day difference. When you get the turbocharge in braking, you can see not an issue at all. So I would definitely recommend you go turbo if you want that fun factor and a little bit of the wowness, because it has so much torque. It feels so much quicker than the numbers project. As for a daily driving vehicle, is it smooth? It actually is, and it's a bit torque happy in sport. So if we take it off of sport, it starts driving a little bit less aggressive. But if you really need it to go, you can still push the gas pretty hard. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to get about 2 and a bit of a lane. Give it some go. It just takes off. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. Starting off with the 3 things that I like, it has to be this turbocharged engine. It's brilliant. It is so fun to drive. Like, the maneuverability is insane. I can just weave in and out if I need to. I can get somewhere snappy and quick. Plus I got luxury to back it. I could just go on for days on that. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is it's not the longest. So when I'm getting a small, compact SUV with luxury, I don't want something that's over the top. I want something that's easy to get in and out of things, which I can do so. Parking is not going to be an issue. You have your blind spot monitoring. There is some disadvantages, which we'll get to in a second, but for the most part, the practical use and for the size, getting in and out, for the quickness, it ticks all the boxes. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is it's still comfortable. When you get into these smaller vehicles, it starts to get a little bit less comfortable and a little bit more bumpy. The seat cushioning is actually still really good. 3 things that I dislike has to start off with the interior space that you have, whether it's leg or head space. For me, I would probably opt for the CX-5 just because you're going to get a little bit more leg room. Going into the second thing that I dislike will be that we're paying right at premium price, almost around $34,000, $35,000 when we're looking at a subcompact SUV. And it would be nice to not have so many of these materials everywhere that I'm hitting. It's literally all over the vehicle. The fun factor though does take it over, and the fact that they do at least give you all soft materials where it needs to be. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to receive about 2 in a par lane, ready to rock and roll. It's a fun vehicle. Dynamics, look at this. It keeps itself on the road. It's very, very good with that. Tight, I like it. The steering isn't necessarily artificial either. Heads-up display, I can actually see it with polarized glasses. There's just a lot of pluses. The door panels are raised up, so it really stresses performance. And when you look through the hood, it actually feels really good because you're looking over it, but you still know where your bumpers are. Blind spots, there's quite a bit of them in the back, but they do give you a third window, which is not on the Mazda 3 hatchback. So that is something to take in consideration if you're putting that in comparison against the vehicles. The last thing that I dislike has to be the towing. 2,000 pounds, this is a turbocharge. I wish I would see at least 3,500 pounds because when you go into the competitors, 1,500 pounds is actually a little bit of a big deal. Going over impurities, smooth, not necessarily so wide either. So, I mean, this is a practical, everyday, fun vehicle. You're not really going to be able to get this in too many small SUVs. When you go into the XC40, you really have to start spending more at the $40,000 to $50,000 price point, or go to like Recharge, which that escalates to nearly $60,000. So just think about the value that you're getting with this Mazda CX-30. I'd like to thank Nawaf here at West Shore Mazda for giving us this 2022 Mazda CX-30 Turbo Premium for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click the next video because it's going to be a Mazda. That subscribe button. Check out the details, merchandise website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides. Now backing up with that small little camera, it's still doable, but you got to be careful because there's a TRX behind us.